Hello and welcome to Heartbreak and Hope. We open today's episode with some words from Natalie Goldberg, and then we're going to share the things that are breaking our hearts and giving us hope this week, and you are invited to join us in that practice. This is the reading for July 1st from Prayers for Healing, again by Natalie Goldberg. Be tough in the way a blade of grass is, rooted, willing to lean, and at peace with what is around it.
What's breaking your heart today?
I am just, I'm mad and sad and scared. I'm mad at the Supreme Court for their decision about transgender athletes. And I'm mad for more than just the athletes, right? I'm mad that they made a decision that violates the rights of transgender athletes. I'm worried that what they've done is open the door to allow gender discrimination.
Oh yeah.
And so this is just the beginning of, I think, a series of legislation and legal decisions that will continue to erode the rights of both trans citizens, but also allow for other forms of gender discrimination against all people. Because if you make it okay to discriminate against somebody because they're transgender, then you can discriminate against somebody because they're a woman. Or because they're intersex, or yeah. And I'm scared about what that's going to lead to, and I'm also really mad because they're using really reductionist thinking, and they're failing to recognize the full spectrum of humanity. And I believe it's a political decision that rejects the basic humanity of people.
Yeah. And as all these things, all these lately in the past 10 years, the Supreme Court, since, it became mostly conservative, each of the, things that they discussed being stepping stone to worse. So they start with a relatively small minority of people, less than 1% of athletes are trans. And then they're going to use that. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm in the middle of reading this. Sam Ames is a lawyer that I think works with the UUA, and he has a Substack, so you can look it up. And he is mad, but he's not that mad. He thinks it could have gone worse straight off the bat. It could have affected Title IX stuff, and and all that. I don't mean to minimize what it is, because every time the Supreme Court is judged in a trans case has come out dehumanizing trans people, not recognizing the inherent humanity of all trans people. And I mean, in the trans community, we were bracing for this, and uh,
Yeah.
I mean, there's good reason to protest, to get more allies, because the thing with trans people is like, there aren't that many of them, so we super need allies, right? But it's one more thing. I also happen to be an immigrant. So there were two things on the docket today or this week, that concerned my existence. One went bad, and the other one didn't go bad, except that it should have been a 9-0 in favor of the Constitution. I'm no lawyer, but like, aren't they supposed to uphold the Constitution?
Yeah.
And there are 3 justices that did not agree to essentially upholding the Constitution on birthright citizenship.
Yeah, the Constitution's really clear on birthright citizenship, and so again, that calls into question whether or not this is a political decision, especially because those people claim to be constitutionalists.
Right. That the whole big deal about, activist judges from the left are not, strict literalists. That doesn't hold, but it does, and that's like everything to inject fear in the population. What is birthright citizenship? And I wasn't born in the United States, but it concerns people that are naturalized too.
Absolutely.
And
Whether or not
again,
their children will become
and their
citizens.
children.
Yeah.
And so my kid was concerned. Concerned her in this thing, but like, denaturalization has been said more times in the past year and a half than I want to hear it. So, I mean, yes, the Supreme Court didn't give Trump the wins he wanted, but that's just small comfort, because it's gotten so bad that even the Supreme Court, as corrupt as it is, doesn't want to give him what he wants. So, yeah.
Have you found any hope this week?
Well, I mean, what makes me hopeful is that people still come together at Pride, that people still come together even in the face of anti-trans legislation or cases where we try to understand what's going on. And, to go to Bell Hooks' All About Love, she says that understanding and questioning is part of love, right? It's part of living into your values. And so the fact that people come together is always a consolation. That there are people, there are humans with humanity. It's not all just about the Supreme Court. And that group of humans, it seems to be getting bigger and seems to be electing Mamdani-like people all over the country. So that's the consolation. The grassroots seems to be doing okay.
Yeah. I I took a lot of hope. You know, it's so interesting to see and learn who's part of the resistance. And so my joy this week, my hope was that the Daughters of the American Revolution support trans women. Which was just, I was like, wait a minute, the Daughters of the American Revolution are part of the resistance? When did this happen? Which, I mean, in theory, right, like Daughters of the American Revolution, the name should imply, but the DAR has not particularly been known as a very radical organization.
Correct.
And so it was really lovely to see that this week. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a great ally, right? Like that's the thing. And that's in a way, I mean, they're famous and they're well known, but it's kind of grassroots too, because they don't respond to any other, government type.
So I hope that as this heat wave rolls on, that folks are finding ways to stay cool, to connect with people in ways that are affirming and encouraging, and we will be back together soon.
Yeah. Stay hydrated. A classic. Bell hooks, all about love. And she says in the chapter about values, cultures of domination rely on the cultivation of fear as a way to ensure obedience. When we choose to love, we choose to move against fear, against alienation and separation. The choice to love is a choice to connect and to find ourselves in the other.